Hello, good evening, welcome back to another one of these. I was going to put a video together. I mentioned it in my 4-part video about maps and the research I'd done into their etymology, where they came from, the fact that east used to be north, because of when they were first put together there was no such thing as north. So the only common factor, reference point, was the sun. Always used to rise in the east, so that would be like the top of the map kind of thing. Somebody linked, I can't remember his name, Dan Fowler, something along those lines. I do apologise. He gave me a link to the MapMen, who did a much better video about where maps come from. And I was going to do this meandering thing about going into the Mercator map and the Gleason projection and all these other different types of maps. But whilst I was doing an initial recording last week, which my microphone screwed up, I found it a little bit dull, a little one-sided. There wasn't much to reference flat Earth with. Basically, it's the premise that some flat Earthers believe that the Earth is hanging from a string in space, and if you pour water on it, it will fall off the bottom, and if planes are going underneath, they're actually flying upside down, that kind of thing. That nonsensicality. I could only find one real video that, whilst many have said it, there was one guy who actually had a little toy airplane with a globe, but Sir Sick debunked him quite majestically several years ago, so I thought I'd leave that. But what I'm going to go for in my quest for material for today, I went back to another stalwart I haven't really covered on this channel, David Weiss. Now he's got the Flat Earth channel or something along those lines. He's constantly doing podcasts and interviews to people who will give him the time of day and enable his idiocracy, if that's even a word, or this lunacy that he adheres to. So I had a look through his channel, whatever, Flat Earth, DIRTH or something along those lines, and I found the channel and I found one of the podcasts he's done quite recently, the last couple of weeks. David Weiss, Flat Earth Day, finally proof the Earth is flat, ? Where he gives an interview to who's it for? Z Media. Now I've looked a little bit into this Z Media group. I thought it was ZEE. It's not. There's an extra E in there. I didn't record a little bit about Z Media, who were a legitimate news organisation owned by India.com or something like that, and they were slightly right of centre. It's not them. ZEE Media is run by what can only be described as a psychopath. I wouldn't go that far, but some of the concepts on her website are man versus machine, AI, transhumanism and the battle for humanity. Ex-Illuminati exposes transhumanism and cyber Satan. UN says LGBT rights above religious rights, push to decriminalise pedophilia. This woman doesn't deserve the time of day. She looks actually quite dangerous, which is probably why Dave Weiss was so keen to accept any kind of invitation to appear on her channel. Looks like she's also selling some end of the world garbage as well, and some vitamins. There's a shock. It's amazing how these people are, promoting all this doomsday end of the world type garbage, and yet they've got their own range of reasonably priced survival supplements. Oh, satellite systems as well. Bet they're quite expensive. Okay, well, let's crack on. I've actually inserted this video because I found out a little bit more information about the people, the person who found David Weiss to be a brilliant person to speak to. Right, let's crack on with the video. And they've decided to, for whatever reason, give an hour and a half's screen time to David Weiss, and he does, I like to call him the king of off-centre green screen. He'll go on these shows and he'll stand just to the right. Ignore the chair, I do need to get this redone. So he'll stand to the right so he can show all the pictures behind him that he's got on standby, and he's got his phone in tonight. It's quite, he's technologically capable, it's just not mentally capable. Is that a bit of a hard subject? Let's find out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this live, not really live, but I found the video, I've recorded it. I have to do screen grab recording rather than actual downloading. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch it in real time and interact or respond to each of his claims You'll see how sad it is. It's like a split screen, and you've got this woman who's interviewing, who's just nodding along like a nodding dog, or those little duck things that go into the glass of water. So it's quite sad to see. Two things it's sad to see is, one, him spouting the same garbage over and over and over again, and secondly, the other person lapping it up as if this is new and credible information. Will there be anything new outside the 4-part video or the supercut I did? Probably not, because as has been said many times before by other people, these guys haven't got an original idea among them. So it's the same garbage they've been spouting for years. Let's see how we get on. I will just press play on this video and I'll see at the end. I don't know how long this is going to be. The actual video is 90 minutes. The last one I did, the 4-parter, was a 45-minute video, which with my content stretching out to 1 hour 10. So this is probably going to be more than one part. So bear with me. I'll see if I can get it down to less time than normal, so it's not a drag for everybody. We all get back to our Saturdays or whatever day I decide to publish this. Right, so here we are, doubling down on the dirt. David Weiss giving an interview to Z Media. Let's see if he says anything new.
We're joined now by David Weiss, also known as Flat Earth Dave. He's been on a mission for many, many years to prove to the world that the Earth is flat. Now, let me just say openly that I am completely undecided here. What I do know is that I don't trust the globalists and I don't trust NASA. So
well, that's not exactly what you'd call an impartial interviewer. Open to the idea means you're already biased one way or the other. There's nothing to be biased. There's no middle of the road here. The Earth's a globe, scientifically verifiable. What's the word? Demonstrably real. That's the expression I'm looking for. Doesn't believe the globalists and doesn't believe NASA. This is not journalism in any way, shape, or form, and we're less than 30 seconds in. This is going to be fun.
today we're going to explore this topic. David, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on, Maria. I really appreciate speaking to people that have open minds and are brave enough to look at this very taboo topic. It's the fact that, when you can mention fairies and goblins and whatever you want. Everyone's like, oh, that's interesting. And then you mention flat Earth and they're like, get out of here because of the programming. So the fact that you're willing to address it, the truth does not fear investigation. And here we are. Let's talk about it.
So, yeah, the statement, the truth does not fear investigation. No, it doesn't, and it never has. It just depends on your understanding of what truth is and how much you're willing to accept, because you just aren't.
That you were actually staunchly against it at one point.
Well, every flat earther was staunchly against it. We're all brought up and indoctrinated into believing, this heliocentric, Disney, crazy, insane solar system. Here's the thing. People that believe in the globe, they have no idea what they believe in. We'll get into that, right? Because they think they know, but when you actually look at it, that's how you become a flat earther. So I was doing a conspiracy podcast. When I say conspiracies, I mean where people are conspiring to benefit themselves. That's called a conspiracy. And a lot of that goes on in this world. So I was doing this podcast about all these things and people started throwing flat earth at me. And I'm like, nope, not going to look at it, because I was programmed like flat earth, dumbest thing ever.
Thing about that is, if you were already openly talking about various conspiracies with that incorrect description you just gave of it, it's not about somebody or some organisation profiting. It's a set of beliefs that people have that go against the norm, of which there is no evidence. That's why it's called a conspiracy. I do not believe for 1 second that David Weiss has ever been against flat earth or shied it away. He's an absolute sponge for garbage. So far he's already talking out of his backside, which was to be expected.
Obama said, in 6 different speeches, we don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
And so he should. He was the president of the United States, probably one of the best ones they've had. Well, given what we've had since, he's absolutely the best president you've had in quite some time. Why would you give any time to discussing flat Earth when, again, said so many times before, it's not bloody flat. There's no reason to discuss it. You can talk about it and say, okay, you're saying the Earth is flat. Here's a live stream from the ISS that shows it isn't flat. Here is pictorial evidence. Here is, Eratosthenes evidence from thousands of years ago, who proved beyond a reasonable doubt that the Earth is an oblate spheroid and it is not flat. With a Wikipedia link that always gets put underneath these videos of these ilk. The concept of flat Earth is an archaic concept of the shape of the Earth. It's been disproved. You may as well ask Obama to talk about leprechauns.
That's how they do it. I was completely against it, wouldn't look at it, but then another researcher I trust very much, Sophia Smallstorm.
Sophia Smallstorm is an absolute crackpot. She is a COVID denier, COVID anti-vaxxer, 9/11 conspiracy theorist, 5G conspiracy theorist. Absolutely no person whatsoever to be able to lead anybody anywhere. And as I said, if he's willing to believe anything this person says, then he was always going to accept the flat Earth concept. His claim that he shied it away, don't believe it for a second.
She made me look. She's like, Dave, you got to look. And she sent me Mark Sargent's Clues, which Mark Sargent put out some, he came across flat Earth. He's like, wait a minute, let me just put some short videos together asking questions. He figured some astrophysicists would come back and go, look, this is an explanation. Silence, crickets, nothing.
This, probably, I'm doing well here. This probably relates to that video from the Flat Earth Conference where Mark Sargent claimed that he sent 5 questions to a university asking about the shape of the Earth and this, that and the other. I'll see if I can dig the clip up. But basically he said that he asked this question to a university, there was no response. I asked this question to a university, there was no response.
Like helium, hydrogen, and fluorocarbons. Isn't it more logical to suggest the atmosphere is being contained in an enclosed, pressurized system? They had no answer.
Very good reason for that. You're not worth the time of day. Your questions are a complete waste of resources, time and energy. They've got more important things to be doing than asking stupid questions from an idiot. By the way, Mark Sargent very, very quickly falling out of favour with the Flat Earth community. I don't normally side with him. Level Earth Observer very recently did a partially excellent video about Mark Sargent selling his soul to an Australian betting app. Adam looked the app up, or looked up which country has the worst record for gambling addiction. It's Australia.
Flat Earth expert Mark Sargent thinks the moon landing was a hoax.
Technically, the moon itself is a hoax.
Right, but betting with Sportsbet's new iPhone app?
I could do this standing on my head.
Thanks, Gravity. Sportsbet's new iPhone...
What are you thinking? Technically, the moon is a hoax. Are you for real?
And Mark Sargent's advertising an Australian gambling app, so yeah. But then again, he's an attention-seeking liar who charges people to go to his conferences, says everything you need to say about this Sophia Smallstorm and Mark Sargent, so yeah. Still, let's crack on.
And so I watched that and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to just believe anything. And I started looking, and the thing that got me was ships over the horizon. Everyone goes, what about ships disappearing from the bottom up? But then...
Please see my previous video for evidence of this. He's going to talk about buying an expensive camera, isn't he? He's going to talk about getting an expensive camera and zooming on a boat or something on the water and bringing it back into view.
And with today's super zoom cameras and optics, we can zoom in and bring those ships right back into view when they supposedly went behind a physical curve, right?
Right.
If my mouth is behind this physical curve, zooming in isn't going to do anything. But on a flat Earth, the horizon is optical. And so I went out and bought $1,000 worth of camera equipment, tripods, went down to the beach, zoomed in on a buoy that was 11 miles away, just over 10 miles. At 10 miles, according to the globe map, there should be 66 feet of curvature. 66 feet. How am I seeing this buoy?
Let's see the photo. If you had a camera, you spent thousands of dollars on a camera, you don't tell me you just took it down there to zoom in on the horizon on boats. That's a colossal waste of money. Let's see the pictures, Dave.
And I said, I know it. That curvature calculator is wrong. So I went to the debunking sites, the sites that are put out there to steer people away from flat Earth. I was like, what are they saying the curvature should be?
Where's the picture? You took a camera to the beach and you didn't take a picture with which you could prove what you said was true.
And they have this ridiculous calculator that says, oh, well, you're sharing the hump with, the drop with the viewer. So it's only half of that. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense, but I'll go with it. 33 feet. I don't know any buoys that are 33 feet tall. Okay. I'm still seeing this buoy. And not only can I see the buoy, I can see the surface of the water for miles and miles and miles beyond it.
As I've said before, what's a good demonstration? Haven't really got anything, but let's just say, get my camera up so I can see what I'm seeing. So let's say that's the beach, that's the horizon. Okay, you see that? That is actually my Sirius Black Wand box. There you go. So there's the horizon. It does not just go to a point and stop, and then it goes off level or whatever. It goes. It's a gradient. I'm not going to bend my box. But when you're looking at the horizon, your eyes are drawn to the horizon, and depending on your height, you are actually inadvertently looking down to the horizon. If you're up on a cliff or a hill or something along those lines, you're just drawn to it. But because it's so far away, you perceive it to be still at eye level. Dave McKeegan, the other day, brilliant video, which he referenced another video where somebody made a U-shaped spirit level with water that he took down to the beach, and it was in line with the horizon, took it up onto a hill, and it was way above, because obviously the higher you are, the further down the horizon is. It's just very hard to perceive because our eyes are drawn to it. Yeah, you can actually see quite far. I mean, if you're standing right on the beach, I can't remember where I saw it. It might actually have been on an episode of QI. You can only see about 6 or 7 miles. But it's curving away from you gradually, so it's very possible he saw the buoy and brought it back in with an amazingly high-powered camera, of which he has not provided any evidence he either owns or knows how to use, because he hasn't shown any pictures. Again, I'm going to go back to my reference of Folkestone in France, which I live very close to. I've said it before a couple of times. You can see France from Folkestone, you can't see it from Dungeness. It's only a perpendicular difference of about 20 miles straight down the coast. Yes, my evidence of the curvature of the Earth is 25 miles that way. That way.
I went in to debunk flat Earth with a closed mind. I'm here to debunk flat Earth and prove the globe. That's not real. That's not the way you should investigate anything.
True.
I went in with that attitude, and that's how you become a flat earther. Only when you look, only when you take the time and look, that's how you become a flat earther.
No, you become a flat earther by having preconceived biases that you need to validate by only looking at the things you want to look at. As I said before, literally, I'm only 5 or 6 minutes into this video, and I'll probably double the runtime of this bloody thing. Everything he's saying is completely disingenuous. He is absolutely a conspiracy theorist, absolutely willing to accept the concept of a flat earth. If he had any kind of capability of objectively analysing evidence as presented to him, he would not be a flat earther. Flat earthers cannot accept contradictory information to previously held beliefs. Schizotypy, once again.
Yeah, people say, have you ever flown in an airplane? You can see curvature. You can't see curvature, right? And every time we prove that you can't see curvature at a certain elevation, they move the globe post, right? Instead of the goalpost, they move the globe post farther. We're like, we prove that you can't see it at out of an airplane. So then Neil deGrasse Tyson comes out and says, oh, you have to be in a jet fighter at 70,000 feet. So the Mythbusters, right? The disinformation guys I call the Mythbusters, they showed that at 70,000 feet, oh, look at the curve. And they're filming through curved glass with a fisheye lens, but one of the cameras inside that was looking out the back did not have a fisheye lens. And it could see the horizon at camera level, right?
I personally haven't seen, I've never really watched Mythbusters, or this thing about Neil deGrasse Tyson. I do know that MC Toons very recently called out Mark Sargent once again, who said he would quit Flat Earth if anyone could provide photographic evidence of the curvature of the Earth, and they have done. Now, what they say about not being able to see the curvature of the Earth from an airplane window is about that wide, and because of our focal range, unless we shove our face right up against it, we really can't. Not really. Mark Sargent, God, all these names I'm throwing around here. Mark Sargent was invited on this morning when Phil and Holly were still doing it together, I think I've clipped it before. And Philip Schofield said that he'd been on Concorde many years ago and he'd seen the curvature of the Earth from the window, because that obviously, because it can go much faster, it can go much higher. And then Holly said, so is Phil a liar? Mark Sargent says, no, you just wanted to see a curvature. It's not about want, it's about what you can. If I want to see a curve and there isn't one there, I'm not going to invent one in my mind. I'm pretty sure this is pretty finely tuned. I can tell the difference. I'm actually, because of my job, I'm actually quite good at it. Ask me about my timber, lumber, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, this is about the curvature of the Earth being able to. There is a certain threshold where you have to get to a certain height before you can see the curvature of the Earth with the naked eye. Fisheye lenses. Fisheye lenses is the curse of the GoPro. The GoPro is you know what it is. It's a very light, portable, multi-use camera that tends to come with a fisheye lens because it wants to get as much information in as possible, which can then be semi-manipulated editing software later. But the default video format is slightly fisheye. The Felix Baumgartner video is a prime example of that. However, plenty of people have taken non-fisheye lens cameras up into the atmosphere, stratosphere, whatever, taken a picture of the horizon, and it is very, very obviously curved. Take a look at the 50-minute ISS video when they go into the now infamous cupola scene. Curvature of the Earth right there. The curvature of the Earth is there. You don't have to want to see it if it's there to be observed. Okay, that will do for the end of part 1. Thank you very much for watching if you made it this far. I'm going to clip this up, get part 2 out probably middle of the week, and then next weekend and the week after that, depending on how many parts I get out of this video. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time.